Welcome to our Monday Dojo here. You've got Jacob Crowdy and Frank Bryant. We're a little short today on the floor, so it's probably going to be a little bit of a quicker one. But as a reminder to everybody watching, if you are one of our newly contracted agents, welcome. If you are an agent looking for a new home, welcome. If you're a policyholder or looking to become a policyholder, we are all inclusive here. We love everybody. And love everybody that watches. So thank you. Today, I wanted to start off with just a little update here. This is more for, if you've been following some of our past videos, I think I told you about this before, but the person that I underwrote that was 65. Have I told you this kerfuffle? So here's, long story short here. She's 58, and the only company that we were appointed with that would take her said that her taking one pain pill a day was treatment for her rheumatoid arthritis.
I remember that.
Yeah. So she calls back in today while we're on the phone, and she is just over the moon talking to Chris on the phone. She's like, I want to talk to Jay, but he's like, well, he's in he's asking health questions right now, so you can't. He was like, have him call me back. I'm just super excited. Have him call me back. And he was like, well, what's going on? He was, well, I got approved with Blue Cross. And at first, since Chris didn't really know what was going on, he was like, did she go just start applying to other places? No, this is me helping her. So Blue Cross, when I went through the health questions, we were not appointed in that state for it. But going through the health questions, she had a really good shot at getting qualified. And so that's when I called Blue Cross and got a Blue Cross agent on the line with me.
I remember
Had
this,
the warmest referral ever.
The guy was screwing it up.
And then the guy screwed it up and called me back to help him underwrite his own company. But luckily, they were able to submit it. Now she went from paying $400-something down to, I think she's at like $190.
Good. How many referrals you gotten?
I still have to call her back this afternoon. And I've already sold her ancillary products too. So she's going to be my client for life there. Now, it's one of those, like you said, where, okay, what's the immediate payout? For me, it's not anything immediate besides the ancillary policies that I sold her. It's not major medical here, immediate payout. And she does still have 7 years till she's 65. But she knows that she's got somebody that she can go to that whatever question she has, I'll find an answer for her even if I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my little good deed, positive, uplifting story. The other one I had to this morning, it's just been, I never get the easy ones, man. I never do. Never do.
It's a matter of perspective. How many you put up last week?
30.
Right. So out of 30 in a week, you're going to get some hard ones.
Yeah, well, they're all the hard ones, like the one that me and Lacey are working on right now, which is why he's on the phone and I'm in here. Husband has dementia, and they both smoke. But luckily, you're able to get to Cigna to the first time I've ever done a standard 3, not even higher than a standard 2. But that's the positivity in it, where a lot of people, where the wife is perfectly healthy. She's a tobacco user as well, so she gets rated up a little bit. But he's got dementia, and a whole lot of people wouldn't touch that. Whereas us here, we're like, hell yeah, we'll find you something. Eventually. So that's my little positive story here. Stephen, I have a character question for you to start here.
Okay.
Are you a bar soap or a liquid guy?
Liquid.
What do you think all of us are in here?
I know he's a bar soap guy.
Bar soap guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a loofah guy too. So I can do bar, sponge, or liquid, but I gotta have a loofah.
Because you need that abrasion.
I do need the exfoliation.
Yeah, bar soap actually doubles as a weapon too, so that's also a bonus.
Of course.
Liquid soap too, if you put it on the floor.
Right.
It's a trap if you think about it like that. But no, Frank, give me something positive here to start the day. I mean, I've had positive interaction so far this morning. We've only been doing it for 4 hours.
Well, I've been talking to agents this morning, and it's kind of hard because right now they're in a world that's not very positive. They just don't, they don't quite get it. They don't understand why it's not clicking. And the problem that we encounter is something that's very easy to solve, but we seem to be the only ones that are actually taking that action. So, positive note, I'm getting guys signed up for the Guru's Career Path for remote agents. Oh man, it's kind of sad. You see a lot of very talented people, a lot of people that actually have a whole lot of go get them, and they get signed up with these deals that are just atrocious. And you see these guys that they're almost at burnout, right? That pivotal moment where they got all excited. They did all this work to go get their license. They took the test multiple times. They did all this. They expect all this training. They expect everything out there. And the guys that are in charge of training them don't even know what they're doing. And they just kind of feel helpless. And then out of desperation, they apply to us because they find us. And it's, you talk to people and it's like, there's almost a sunk cost fallacy, because at one point, have you ever dealt with someone that's been a part, like a victim? Of course we have. We deal with Medicare. You deal with those people that have been the victim of scams, right? Right? Or you hear someone that's actually in the middle of one, and you're like, oh no, don't do that. You know, like my new internet boyfriend's an oil rig worker, and you know, just you're like, no, don't do this.
I believe I exclusively told the story on here about how my aunt mailed $30,000 in cash wrapped in aluminum foil to a address in Illinois.
We've all had family go through that, and the hardest thing in the world is to kind of divest them from that worldview. And it's especially hard when someone's already been burned, right? Because now they think that's everything in the world. You know, they tend to shut down. And when they start hearing this, they start hearing the hope of what we have. And it's great because they'll start, you know, we operate transparently. So we're like, hey, this is the world, what it really is. This is what's going on. But in a way, you kind of feel bad because you can see that tinge of like, shit, that was a year of my life. Right?
It's just like when you break up after a bad relationship. You never want to admit it. But I'd say, let's get us back on the positive track here.
Yeah, right. I know positive, but it's just.
I know. We can sync pretty quick. Grip, how is your Monday morning?
Oh, it's great. The people that I enrolled into were very much excited because the people that I talked to, they were very aware of what's going on in the Medicare industry. They're aware of the Joe Namath leads, as we call them. You know, the people that are calling in like, hey, I saw Joe Namath tell me I get free shit, so let me go get some free stuff, you know? And it's like, they know that those people, although they need help, they're being misled. And so it was both agents that I enrolled today. They were like astounded that we were actually doing this. They're like, one lady, she was like, I can't believe, like, what you're saying seems like a dream. Like, because I know Medicare supplements are the superior product. I know that the commissions and renewals are structured on helping clients. Like, we give renewal, the carrier gives renewals because they want to keep that book of business intact. So if you go there and you say to them, hey, we've done all the research, you need to stay put. Like, that's a win-win for the client because they're not being misled, and it's a win for the agent because they're getting that renewal. So either way they do it, they know that they're doing the right thing. And it was great this morning talking to them because it's like, oh, so you're already eating what we're feeding you. So now let's just get you going. So that was a very positive Monday morning.
That was good. Why don't you, I don't know if we've actually said it in here before. Why don't you describe Guru's career a little bit?
Okay. Well, what we are doing is we are expanding our sales floor. We're doing what you are doing in this office to people all across the United States. And with the technology that we have developed, with the training that we've developed, and with the community that we will soon develop and expand on, we are going to have agents across the United States handling their own book of business the right way. And so the commission schedule, the leads are all going to be together for you to be a successful remote Medicare career agent. And so what I'm telling people as I further explain the position to these agents, they're lighting up. Because you would think, this was my skepticism at the beginning, it's like, oh, people are going to want to ask about base. Is there a base? Is there a bonus structure of sales? Well, I don't even talk about that because they know that they are being withheld their own earnings from their own sales. You know, and I've worked with incumbents as well, like, you know, major conglomerates, and they aren't even allowed to talk to their clients because they're an acquisition agent. So their job is just to close. They have an entire retention department. And that is now what's happening to all the major corporations is that they are releasing all of these acquisition agents and hiring or retraining and repackaging them into retention agents because that's going to keep patching up the boat because it's very quickly sinking.
Well, because they went to the lowest common denominator. Everyone started getting lazy and started going, I want live transfer leads. The problem is the supply chain on a live transfer leads goes through multiple hands. And the people that are actually supplying the data for that want to get mass, not quality. So therefore, every live transfer lead that you're getting currently on the market, and Lord knows we've tried most of them, are DSNP. They're people that are going to change every quarter because they're on Medicaid.
Right.
Because that's the cheapest thing to acquire as far as a lead to call. As call centers just want to get that person on the phone and get it transferred to you. So you're even dealing with people that don't have Medicaid and Medicare. So, that's $35 to $75 each one. Bam, 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 bam. So these agents and agencies are out there, and this has happened long enough to where you have these companies, they don't know anything else. And other people that are training them, how many people we've talked to just today, they want to sell subs. They don't know how. They weren't trained on it.
Yep.
So the issue that you run into is that we have a big, big mess. It's good for us. It's not good for the industry. It certainly isn't good for the clients. And that's the big thing about it. So a lot of these guys that are out there, they've been in jobs that are paying them, 40 to 50 base. And then I talked to one guy, it's like $50 for an Advantage app that gets charged back. It's like 7 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. That's not a way to build a book of it. That's not a way to build a career. Mm-hmm. That is, you might as well go work at a Dell call center, right? That's just not right. And when they see the amount that they've been selling, and these guys have been selling, they've been spending up 2 to 4 a day. They walk home with $60,000, and their company is putting up about $300,000, not even accounting for the renewals that they're getting, especially the ones that are still selling subs. It's just really skewed.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny because you guys talk about that too. I had this little incident too this morning, learning incident is what it was, but doing the same thing with Allison. That to where you have to be careful of who you listen to and when you listen to them. So she was helping a client. This was like the third or fourth time they've talked, even after enrolling her. Which for her, it's great. You want to do some customer service here, but she spent about an hour finding a coupon and different ways to fill these 2 prescriptions. And so I kind of had to bring her back in because in her mindset is she goes, oh, well, Jacob and Victoria do that all the time. They'll take the time and they'll help them out. And I'm like, yes, we do. But here's the thing. Right now in the role that you're in, you are an apprentice. You are not an agent. Your job is almost like connector for Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. Where he's like, you sit here, you go through these, you get me on the line with big shots, we're good to go. That's what your job is. So I had to refresh her and I go, look, the reason that I'm saying this now is not for you not to have it set in today, but for it to set in a month from now, when everything gets real, when there's no more apprenticeship, it's now, hey, you are an agent, you've had training for 3 months, it's time to shine, baby. Mm-hmm. And I go, that's why I'm saying this to you right now, not for you to comprehend today, but for you to comprehend come January 1st, February 1st, March 1st, is that there are times when you have to rein back and think of it yourself. Okay, do I have the time to spend this extra hour when I've already enrolled them? I've already done everything I could to possibly help them. Or is this something that I could potentially handle with just an email? Because she took about 20 minutes to figure the email out, get the coupons, then send it off in the email, then was on the phone with them again for another 15 minutes. And I had to kind of frame it for her like, look, it's terrific you want to help them, but you have to think about that for yourself here. In the 45 minutes to an hour that I took helping this person, could I have done that off the clock? At the end of the day, beginning of the day, this weekend, is there really a rush for it? Mm-hmm. Is it something that, you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart? Can you help them when you're not trying to actively make money? I said, I go, the most important time of the week on the phone is Monday morning.
Yep.
Monday morning, because it sets up your entire week. If you have a Monday morning where you're leaving nothing but voicemails, the more voicemails, whatever contacts you try to make, the better your week is going to be. Because then the less you have to do on Tuesday or Wednesday to catch up from Monday. But for her, in her eyes, she was seeing it as like me talking to a client that I'm helping, Victoria talking to a client like you're helping, client like you would help too. Mm-hmm. Where, really go that extra mile. And I go, look, I acknowledge that's terrific, but here's the perspective. You have no renewals to fall back on. You have nothing. You are at zero. So your goal when you are just starting off here as a brand new agent, your goal is to what is going to make me money right now versus what am I going to spend time on that's not going to be proactive? Because she sent me a message. She's like, I'm really glad that like you stopped me from doing this because now it makes so much sense. It's like what I was doing, it was good to help them out, but it wasn't anything that was going to generate me any money.
Right.
I was costing myself time.
Right.
They're already a client. They've already purchased. This is a little cherry on top. Let me do this when I'm not
trying to make money.
8:15 in the morning until 9:30.
Right.
The very first day of the week.
Right. You have to triage those and put them in the right spot, and they'll understand. I mean, people want to deal with people that are busy. That means they're good at their job. You know, so
it's a here's your Frank Bryant level here scenario too. This is one of the guys that you and me have been helping out of Dallas, where it's been connecting back and forth, and he got declined for his med sup, so we're trying to get him back on a sup and everything, or got declined for that, so we have to go back to Advantage, get him whatever. There's just a whole lot of moving pieces to it. We've been talking about through email mainly, but he's really only available between 12 and 1 o'clock. And I was like, that kind of sucks because like that's when some days when you guys aren't available and we have to have this. It's like, okay, I got to go do it. And so he always calls me at like 11:55, and it's not something anybody else can take care of because it's the actual what is going to be the best benefit. And he called in Friday at like 1 and was like, hey, I need to talk to Jacob. And they're like, hey, he's on the phone right now. Like he's a few behind, but he'll get to you when he gets to you. And then he called back in at like 3:50 and he's like, hey, is Jacob still busy? And then Chris is like, yes, he's still on the phone. Like he's a busy guy.
It's a busy time of the year.
It's the busiest time of year. He's a very busy guy. Like he'll get to you. And so at like 4:15, I sent one over to Lacey to finish. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call him right now. I'm going to call him. He's like, man, you are busy. And I go, but that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, well, you want the guy that's working with a lot of other people, don't you?
social proof.
I was like, don't you think that kind of shows what I can do? And that people want to work with me if I'm busy.
Right.
You know, and it got to the point where he's like, oh, okay, so I won't take up too much of your time. And I go, no, we're going to take all the time. This is where it said, you know, perspective here with Allison too, where you kind of have to frame it. I go, we're not getting off the phone until we've got something signed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if that takes 2 hours, 3 hours. I'll text my wife right now and say I'm going to be late. He's like, oh, don't do that just yet. And I go, no, I'm serious.
Yeah.
You and me, we play grab ass too much.
Right.
Or we're just off by a few minutes here. I got you. You got me. We're going to get this done. Got it? And he was like, oh, I like. She was like, I like this, Jacob. I was like, but yes, I was like, that's the point. So then it gets to be 5:15, 5:20. We've done the enrollment and everything. We're just kind of shooting it now.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, tell your wife you're leaving. He goes, I don't want to keep you any longer. He goes, I see what you mean by whenever you start doing your process, you take your time and do it correctly.
Right.
You're not skipping anything. You're not doing anything different. You're actually taking the time for the one you're with. That's why you get backed up so much. Exactly. That's exactly why. But for the people on the floor, they might have seen that as, okay, well, I can take my time and just say, no, well, I got you. Let me talk to you. We'll get everything wrapped up. There's two different occasions for it. Mm-hmm. There's a time when I was doing it to lock down an enrollment versus just to be Jacob and help you out. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different scenario. And that is one thing that you have to learn right away, especially when you go by yourself and you are in charge of, if they have a question, you have to talk to them. You are in charge of everything like that. You know, Frank does a great job to where there's some times when people call in and he's like, look, is this something that the carrier can deal with? Okay, send it to them. I've got more money I got to make.
Right.
Okay.
Or I got 50 other things I got to do here.
Or I got 50 other things to do here versus sometimes you'll see some other agents like Brad get bogged down with people just because he's answering just random questions.
There's also another factor on this too. Yes, you want to be the go-to point person on there, but there's also a fact that there are certain things that only the carrier can do. Mm-hmm. And if I can get them and have them live conference call with me and then explain the situation to the carrier, I'm going to do that, because what's going to happen otherwise is that I will get information from them. I'll call the carrier. I'll get information. There's information missing. And we're playing the telephone game. It's going to take 5 times longer. Mm-hmm. Right. So you need to do the most effective way to help your client humanly possible right away. And in some cases, that's, I know, like Chris and Chelsea and you guys are infinitely capable of handling anything that I could come my way. Certain clients will not deal with any of y'all. In fact, Chris gets cussed out all the time by some of them. That's it. And I will handle those people. The issue is that we have a whole team here to help people. And because we've staged a whole team here to help people, not to pass you off, but to make sure it gets done. Because if you rely on me, 13 years in the business and thousands of clients, it's going to be a long wait. And sometimes you don't have time. I'd rather make sure that I know that you're taken care of because I trained that person and I trust that person. And I have that person's ass in a sling if they don't treat you right. Right? That's a big thing. And clients need to understand that. It's not me going, oh, well, let me get you up because I don't know. It's because we got to get this done now. But there's also another factor in this too, which is social proof. Societal creatures rely on social cues and triggers for survival itself. Right? I keep on talking about this. I know it's a dead horse, but so one of the most effective marketing tools you can do in public facing areas, let's say, for example, I own a food truck or I own a nightclub. You want to have a successful nightclub opening, you better go hire some actors. Same thing with a food truck or anything else. And not to film commercials, to stand in line in front of your place. Because as people are going by a main drag or anything else, they're going to look around and go, that place doesn't have anyone waiting in line. That place has a place around the block or halfway down the block. I want to go to that place. Right? And it's something very, very intentional we have to teach agents, which is even when you're first starting, you are busy. I don't care. You are busy and not doing busy work. You're busy going to generate business, but you are still busy because there's a component there that you have to, people have to understand. It's not about respecting your time. It's about value. So yeah, I want them to respect my time because I make this time available for existing clients and client questions. Now I could be generating business or I could be helping out other people or whatever it is. I am busy because I'm good. And the nature of me being busy means that I am good. Empty restaurants give you food poisoning. Busy ones get you full. Right? It's the same thing with all of that. Trust me, I got guys that do it even now. My friends that have never grown up and are wildly successful. Who would have thought you could be a millionaire planning parties and opening nightclubs? Yet they do it all the time. And they do those dynamics like that. It's a matter of showing that it's busy. If people want to be there, there's a reason they want to be there. So you have to show that. And you can't hide it. I'm always here for you, 24 hours a day. Pick up your phone. Nope, not interested in you. You're desperate. You're needy.
I saw something funny that you guys would understand by doing it because it was something where somebody said, yeah, I got this referral because they said that their agent never answered or never returned their calls. And then it said like flash forward like a week later. And it's like, I understand why their agent did not return their calls. And it's because you can get trapped into it.
Yeah.
You really can't. I had to put that frame of mind into Lacey here because whenever somebody's busy, I'm like, cool. If you're so busy, why'd you pick your phone up?
Yeah.
You're not busy. He was talking to a lady that was driving and I heard him, I used your phrase, commission breath.
Yes.
Because he went through kind of like the about us really quick and like who we are and what we do. I was like, you sound weird here. You sound like you're rushed and then at it. And I was like, why did you rush? Well, it was like, well, she was driving. Okay. And I go, okay, to where? She goes, well, she has something wrong with her car. And I go, okay, what's wrong with her car? He goes, man, that would have been a great question to ask her.
Yeah. Right.
And I go, exactly. Because it's that simple.
And then it leads into, we're not having this conversation right now, not because you're busy, but because I'm busy and I can't afford to have this conversation with you right now. So we need to have it later when you're not busy.
When you're not busy, when I'm not busy, and we can both focus.
Right. And what is this about? Well, it's about your Medicare. Let's leave it at that, and I can call you back X.
When you got a piece of paper handy, we can go through it.
Right. Because you requested this help. I'm here to help you.
So how do you, Stephen, convey that in some of the agents that we're talking to now that their time is valuable? Because with a lot of these people, they are putting up numbers. People that you and me have interviewed too that are doing 5 or 6 a day, and you're like, that's terrific. You're doing 30 a week, but come next year, what are you making on?
Yeah. No, I have to pull it back to have them I talk to them about the business of Medicare. Like they think that they are gunslinging these deals. Oh yeah, I do about 5 and 6, and I acknowledge that's good. But is that the way you want to do business? Like I kind of lead into that. Like, is that the kind of book that you want to have? People that are just like, let's do it. And then you do it in 10, 15 minutes and then you don't see them ever again. Like, are those clients? Are those customers? And so they start to realize, yeah, they're kind of customers. It's like, yeah, we don't do that here. You have your people that you talk to that trust you. I guarantee you the 5 or 6 that you do a day, I would say about a fourth of them in your 100 to 150 you've done, a fourth of them will even answer the call when you call them. And a fourth of that will even remember you. And that's just the nature of how things are done. And we don't do that here, and you know why? Because I was that. I was doing 5 a day. I was gunslinging them, and that was my mindset. Is my job was an acquisition agent. If I made money, I closed them. But I realized, like, what is the point of that? These people are just decent people or advantaged people who are used to this type of procedure, and they're going to switch in a quarter anyways. I mean, I didn't care because I'm getting paid bonuses. I'm not getting residuals off of these. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, these people, when I present the commission schedule, it's like they ask about advantage plans. It's like they're different. We don't mention them merely because you most likely won't get renewals on them because they switch every quarter. The only time that you're going to be switching somebody to an advantage plan is if they financially cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also an easier conversation when it comes to comp level on advantage plans. Last, I don't know what it went up to this year. I think it was like 601. But last year, or for 2022, it was 573 standard enrollment if you enrolled in the first quarter. Every quarter for the advance goes down by a fourth until it goes to almost nothing for the last quarter, and that's for the next year's enrollment if you're going to do that. But the issue that you run into is that's an easy conversation. Our organization split it with these 70%. So that's easy math. Now the renewal on an advantage plan is basically, if they're giving one, is going to be half if they continue it through the enrollment period to the next year. Mm-hmm. So that's not with the persistency on the advantage plans too, even the ones that are not dual special needs plans, even as the ones that aren't Medicaid capable, is incredibly low. So if you build your business off of advantage plans, you will not be able to grow your book of business past a certain point because you will be servicing existing clients, and that's all you will have time for.
They'll just be commission-based because you're enrolling them in new plans. That's the nature of how advantage plans are designed. They're annual plans.
Well, and this is the collapse process that you see in these other organizations. eHealth's a good example, right? They write a lot of advantage plan business, and then that started getting messy and getting dirty, so it became D-SNP business. So instead of just doing an annual renewal, which is already costing them a lot, so they had to go and create an entire retention team. And now that's dedicating resources over from actual acquisition, getting new leads, getting new people to sign up. That starts dropping. So now you're cannibalizing your existing book of business. To make it easier, let's go ahead and get some of these inbound transfer leads, which are all D-SNP. Well, now we're on a quarterly cycle, not even an annual cycle. Now we got to do with chargebacks, clawbacks, keep deals, all sorts of nasty little things that cause agencies to go bankrupt. And then they continue to eviscerate and cut the actual growth section of their business.
If you think about sorry, go ahead.
So the way you stop doing that is you should have at least half, if not 70% of your book should be Medicare supplements, because they last forever and people are insanely happy on them. And I can't tell you how many times I've signed up, because I've been doing it for 13 years. How many people that I have actually signed up my first month on the phone that are still there, if they're still alive, and will not switch off the old plan that I gave them because they're so insanely happy about it. Mm-hmm. We still sell F plans because we sign them up on an F plan. As long as they have an F plan, they know I'm good, but they won't go to a G, no matter how much it saves them.
I sold an F plan this morning.
Yeah, because they won't leave it because it works. It just worked like gangbusters for them. It got them. It paid for their heart attack. It paid for their cancer. It paid for something that makes it
old people just don't want to deal with bills. Right. But I have a quick question for you guys, kind of to steer it. These people that you were talking to that are agents, do you ever ask them what do you think your retention rate is? Without even going to it, how many do you think that you sold last year are still in the books?
No.
I've asked them.
No, I tell them what it is. Mm-hmm. I know what it is.
It's
but no. That's why I wanted to ask Steve too. I was like, do you guys? What do they say? Do they say, of course, majority?
They're shocked by that question.
Yeah.
I can show them ours.
Yeah.
Ours is 89 point something percent for month 13. And they look at that and go, wow. Because that's the issue that you run into, is that their book is, that's all the opportunity they're getting at these large call centers. That's who's applying for us, by the way. It's people that are working already remote for a call center. Okay. There's a lot of them floating around right now because it has gotten really bad.
Well, to add on to that, the majority, and this is not exaggerating, the majority of people that I've talked to have left their organization looking for something else. And I'm telling them, no, Medicare is still a good business. They're like, get out of here. Like, they're paying me these like the leads are bad. I'm getting hammered by my supervisor to hit quotas and close deals. I'm not on the phone long enough, or I'm on the phone. Like, I'm constantly being micromanaged because we got to get these deals. I said, well, that's because that's their incumbent. That's their responsibility. We don't do that here. Like, we do it the right way. But I want to add this one thing to what you're saying. Like, if you think about retention in the Advantage Plan world, Advantage Plans are updated annually. They are catered to switch every year. They are designed for you to review all the plans in your area and then choose the plan that you like and then switch. That's why annual election period, you elect a new plan. So if you're someone on an Advantage Plan and you have a Plan 1 and Plan 2 is identical, except your food card increases by $50 and you get an additional $500 of dental, but your copays to your specialist increased by $20. People will be like, I rarely see my specialist. I want that extra money. If it's me, I'm like, fantastic. Doctors are a network. Let's switch. Let's get you that plan. Get you that extra money because that's what you want. It's not going to happen anymore in those big companies. Why? Because they lose business. That's counted as a churn, switching them over. And that is the death of those companies. So this department is determined to keep these people on the books, to explain to them that their plan that they're on is a good plan, when in fact it is an abject lie that we're telling these people that you shouldn't switch. You should absolutely switch. They are designed for you to switch. These carriers all get together and they say, all right, you want to lead in the food card business? Awesome. You want to lead in dental? Awesome. You want to have transportation? Awesome. And we can all offer them together in the broker world and say, you choose the best one because that's how it's made, because it's a $0 premium. Medicare will pay the capitation rate. But they don't do that anymore. So even at the Medicare Advantage level, they're still doing it wrong. Not because we want to switch, but on the other side, we don't want to switch you when you're on the books because we lose business, which is just terrible.
And how about this, especially for those people that can switch in that frequency, every time they get on the internet, because of the way the nature of the internet and what they're doing, they'll get on there and they'll be like, oh, well, guess what? My light bill's kind of high, heating bill's kind of high. And they'll ask for help with that. They're looking for state assistance on those things since there are those programs out there. But then they get hit with another ad from the same marketing company you bought the lead from in the first place. And it says, oh, you need help with your heating bill? Click here. And then it sends it back over to you or one of your competitors, because it's a new lead at that point, and they sell them another Advantage plan. Or you have to do it again. It's a bad, dirty business. I don't think personally, if you look at me, I haven't seen really, unless you're targeting D-SNPs, I haven't seen live transfers. And I've tested them. I'm the one that tests them here. You guys have seen me close. You'll sell a lot. You will end up broke. You will sell. I mean, that's just because you can't build that recurring income with them. It's just a lot of activity. So when we talk to people on the phone about this, we go, okay, focus on subs first. We'll get you in areas where subs are prevalent. That's where you need to go. We'll get you all this other stuff. We'll set you up for the stage for success. You can do that. However, like for example, last time we were doing another test for live transfers, right? Are they doing any better than our basic refined list?
No.
Right.
I think everybody that I called was looking for light bills and just about everything, not Medicare.
Right. We've sold, what was it, an order of 4 times more just on a call list than we did off of live transfers. That's messed up. Right. So I don't know, man. I just think that if anyone can come in here and learn these things, that's the whole point, is we want to be able to get agents that have a long standing, like you say, Grip, it's great, legacy agency. That's what I want. I want people to be in here, and if they love staying with us and letting us do the heavy lifting for them, great. If they eventually want to branch out, create their own agency, fine too. We'll still be involved with you. But I just think that if we don't have more people out there, if we don't have more exposure on it, you're going to have a very big problem in the industry where you're going to have a ton of people that don't know anything about what they're doing. And that's a dangerous situation.
Yeah. So in lieu of danger, let's flip over back to happy. And this is what we'll wrap up on here, guys, too. Tell me something that made you smile this weekend. I mean, I know y'all aren't.
No,
that
I
sad.
do.
Go ahead, Steven. Take us
first.
Take us here. No,
You go first, man.
No, okay, I'll go first. So I didn't have the boys this weekend, so Laura and I ran around town, and we went to a friend's birthday party in Oscar Blues Brewery. Great little brewery place. It's like a warehouse area off of Metric, but you go in, it's a beautiful place. And I had an IPA there. It was a pineapple upside down cake IPA. It had 8.5 APV. And so I had this, and the reason I'm telling this story is because one of the people there who I knew, one of the friends, was like, "Hey, this guy is an IPA guy, and let's see if this is a passable IPA." And it made me smile because, like, not that I drink a lot of beer, but it's like I know what I'm talking about, and someone actually recognized that I know what I'm talking about. So kind of put a little smile on my face, like, hey, when I talk, I'm not just talking out of my rear. I know what I'm talking about when I talk about this stuff, and someone actually acknowledged it. So that was cool.
What about you, Frank?
Made me smile?
Mm-hmm.
You're asking about my personal life now, man. This is getting weird.
All right, we'll skip you then. Here is mine, because mine is officially an old man,
Okay.
but an old married couple smile.
Uh-huh.
So we have had a heated blanket.
Okay.
That was a queen size. We have a king size bed.
Is that the one that burned a hole in your leg?
No, that was a heating pad, which I went and got another one without letting her know. One that's like it's like almost illegal how hot it gets. like I could cook stuff with it.
The writing's in Cyrillic. You're like, that's how you know it's good.
It's actually a pot, it's not a pad. But so we've had this old, it's got to be like 10, 15 years. It was just one of the plug-in ones where it heats up the whole thing, where only like some of the coils work.
Right.
And so it's just crap. And in the wintertime, I get pissed off at how many blankets are on the bed. So not only do we have, it goes base sheet, comforter, gray blanket, heated throw, green blanket on her side.
That is a lot.
And my side is base sheet, comforter. Okay. And when I get home, I want things to be like picked up. I just want it to look nice. So like even making the bed, like my side of the bed, I've got 2 pillows and the comforter, and it's straight down the middle, like good to go, right? Her side, there's 3 blankets, 17 pillows, everything like that. And so finally I'm like, okay, the reason that she's doing this is because we don't have our heated blanket anymore, because she has her little throw, but then the dog likes to lay on the heated throw. So I go, okay. So this was like Friday night, and it was a little bit chilly in the house. And I'm like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a new one off of Amazon. I'm just not going to tell her about it. It's going to get here Sunday. I'm just going to throw it on when she's out with her. She's hanging out with her cousin on Sunday, and I was like, she'll come home, be perfect. But here's the pro move. Here's the trademark here. I got the one with dual side controls.
What?
It's like $100. But okay, we want to make this happy. It makes me happy because all now that is on there is sheet, comforter, heated king size blanket.
Right.
Okay. But it's a plug-in on each side.
Uh-huh.
So it's a his and a her side. My side, I don't even turn it on. I didn't even turn. She can crank it up to like 100, 110, 120. Doesn't affect
sauna on her
doesn't
side.
affect my side at all. So now we get to sleep in 64-degree weather.
Of course, which guys love.
Without running the heater, which also the bills.
Right.
I love not paying a bill. And so we can just turn it off completely. So instead of putting it at 70, it's now heater's just off during nighttime.
Right.
She's fully heated. The dog's sleeping under the blanket with her.
Uh-huh.
In the meantime, I'm over here enjoying the cold.
Yeah.
So here's a quick question. When are you going to get a space heater for the shower?
That's coming today.
There you go.
I kid you, I have it on I got an additional space here.
That's the
too.
key right there, because it's nice getting in bed, but when you get up in the morning, especially when you're old and played sports like us, you get rickety and hurt, and that cold weather is like all of a sudden everything starts popping. Hop into a hot shower, but now you're still wet and it's still freezing.
Or the elevated move that my parents-in-law have, the heated floors in the bathroom.
Wow,
that is very fancy. So that is what we will end on here. So again, it's going to be a little short week, guys. We are going to be closed for Thanksgiving, so we are not going to be here Friday. I'm not sure, we might have one. We'll have to talk about it and see. But other than that, wanted to share a little positivity towards the end. Again, too, if you are an agent, you're looking at this as a career, not as a job, you need to talk to these two guys. Definitely. If you want to make a legacy for yourself, we kind of talked about legacy on Friday when it was just Jacob Crowdy dark hour and me and my brain here on camera. But
Just get you a bottle of Glenlivet and a cigar.
really, yeah, back in my day.
Make it wear an eye patch.
But that is it for today, guys. So give us a shout, give us a call here if you are an agent, Lord, it's already running too much time. You're an agent, go sell something. Thanks, guys.